Let's see who logs in first. I'm not even going to be strong enough to do this. Well, I'll go ahead and start this off. There's no one on here yet. Let me see. I don't know what's going on with notifications. I think YouTube is dropping the ball. I think YouTube might go away soon. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that this platform is going to continue. So you guys know I did a lot of live feed yesterday. You know I did, and I wanted to, I touched on it in the videos that I shot this morning while I was doing some stuff. YouTube is balls. So I wanted to tell you guys all thank you, because yesterday I was in a very, I was kind of low spot yesterday, and I had work that I needed to do. I started doing some work, and I did all the live feed, and there was so many on there, and it was fun. We had a good time, and it kind of distracted me from the financial situation that we're currently in, which it's not great. I mean, we're not, are we going to lose the house? Not this month, but it's rough. And just the fact that you guys were there and I was able to not focus on that, I wanted to tell you guys all thank you. So I did shoot a couple videos this morning. I had stuff I was doing. I got stones in to soak. I had to flatten some stones. I had some knives that were here. I had some knives that were here that had gotten moved. I apologize. And if he's on here, Charles Anderson, I apologize. The knives that he sent me, I put them in a box, and either my wife or I moved it and it got forgot about. So I had a box with like 6 knives. This guy in Sweden never asked me once about, but they've been at my house with a bunch of his other stuff. So I did a couple videos about those, and they'll be posting up. I was going to try and have one of them up by 1, but I've got to go pick my daughter up in a few minutes. So it didn't happen. I couldn't get it loaded. I looked at how long the load time was going to be, upload. So those are probably going to go up this evening. I'm going to try and do one after the other. I'm going to try and set one for 6 or one for 5. And if I can get one set for 5:30, I'm going to do the premiere. So I'll be in the comment section, and then we'll do that. And so it'll be 5 and then 5:30. If I can't get 5 and 5:30, then it'll be 5 and 6. If I can't get them up by then it'll just keep rotating. Some more Hobbit shillings. Jack, you don't have to keep doing that, bro. I saw a video yesterday by Donut Operator, and like I said before, if you guys don't follow his channel, you should. He's a veteran. He's a prior cop. He has a Twitch and a YouTube channel, and he talks about stupid criminals all the time. And it's a fun channel, but I was talking about him yesterday in a video, and it was funny. Like I said, if you guys don't watch his channel, you should. And I watched some of his videos yesterday. It was pretty fun. He's got some pretty fun content. But yeah, getting that knife that was that bad, the blue color, it makes me happy. I got a blue dog. It's my wife. It's my daughter's, I mean. No, I got those videos done, and then I watched some of his videos yesterday. They were funny. I was so happy with how that Tops Scandi came out. It was so badly ground to begin with. I was afraid it was going to be I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get it the way the customer wanted. And then when I got it to where I was able to you guys saw it, to cut paper towel. And I mean, I wasn't holding on to it and cutting down the middle between 2 fingers. That was free hanging paper towel. That's hard to do. If you guys follow Ben on Ben Spalos on Instagram, that kid's gotten really good at sharpening, and then he's gotten really good at the cutting. I can't cut paper. I can't cut paper on film. It comes out fine the way when I'm doing it and I'm testing and things like that. But when I come down to it, I can't do it. But the one thing I will say, so like you see people do those tests where they get the edge so fine and so thin that they can cut do that. And there's a reason I do, because when you start getting the edge that fine, when you get the edge that fine, or thin, I should say, there's a point where I like a thin edge, but the material to support it. The only knives I would really do that on would be like a scandi. A scandi would work fine for that because it's got more material behind that edge to support it because it's ground out the way it's ground. It's a cousin to a recurve almost, or not a recurve, a convex. But on an average knife, to get your bevel that thin, there's not much supporting at edge, and they have a tendency not to last. They get really thin, and it's not a hollow. It's a scandi where it's just ground one angle all the way up, really far up the edge, which gives you a nice taper, and it's got some serious cutting potential. I've got mine. I'll show you. But it's a definite edge that, if done correctly and done well, gets ridiculously sharp. Here's mine. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what a scandi is, just in case you guys don't know. Instead of having a the apex, it's a cousin to a zero grind. It's a lot like what I do on the chisel grinds, only I do it on one side. As a matter of fact, if you were to look, that's about the same angle. So, yeah, I know. Pukus have a scandi grind on it. Well, that's Finland and Scandinavia and all those Scandinavian countries up there. This has been a common style edge. And once it's set and it's done right, it's really easy it stays sharp really well. Not gonna lie, this $12 knife is by far the sharpest fixed blade knife I have ever owned. So that is, this is terrifyingly sharp. So but that, we've gotten away from the point of the video. I just wanted to thank all you guys that were on the live feed yesterday for keeping me company and keeping me out of that funky, like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Business hasn't been great. What the fuck are we gonna do? How am I gonna keep the house? And then I have to think back that there are things. I've got irons in the fire, and I've got people, I'll explain it later, but I've got people that are willing to, they're basically supporting me in a way that I never expected. So it's, yeah, it's stressful and things like that, but I can't give up on this. I am working on getting a part-time job, and that was the big stressor. I had basically had a part-time job basically locked in. And when I talked to them again, they're like, well, here's the thing, there's been a change. And I was like, what? They bid on a contract once a quarter, and they didn't pick up the contract this quarter. They lost a contract, so they're not looking at hiring anyone part-time. And it's a government contract, and they work on base, and it's just doing some maintenance stuff. It pays well, and it's like 3 or 4 hours a day. And I can do both, because right now I'm not that busy. I hope I get that busy, but it comes in waves, and they're really flexible and things like that. I explained to them, look, I have my own business. There might be times where I need to take like a few days off because I got to focus on that. And they're, and they're like, no, that's fine. But they did not get the contract they bid on, so that meant that they couldn't hire any part-timers. And so that was really stressful. Like, that happened, and it just fell out from under, because I was like, I got to do something. I've reached the point where we can't sustain our lifestyle without some fixed set income coming in. And I was afraid that might happen. I'd talked about it a couple times, but every time I would get around to the point where it looked like it was going to happen, then things would really pick up. And I just was so busy, I didn't know what to do with myself. Yesterday I was pretty busy, but you know what? The whole thing is, the wife and I have not decided if that's even a good idea, because the whole thing is my daughter's ice skating, and there's really nothing comparable out there. So yeah, he saw it. Yeah, that knife, your big knife, your great big knife is really sharp now. It's just one spot at the back. I'm gonna send you a picture. If you want me to try and fix it, I can. It's just an aesthetic thing. It's apex. It's sharp. The edge is all in, but there's one spot where it's really low ground towards the heel. But like I said, I've got to start heading out here in a few minutes. I just wanted to touch base and thank you guys for just being there with me yesterday when I was in that fucking funk. I was hoping that I would get that kind of response while I was doing it. Like I would get enough people in. So it's always nice. You know what? Like I said before, the YouTube subscribers, I know that there's a lot of YouTube channels that I know I comment on some YouTube channels that are about the same size as mine, and you never get a response. And you almost feel like you almost feel like they don't care about their subscribers. And I try not to be like that. I try to do some general interacting with you guys. I read every comment. I might not respond to every comment because a lot of times a comment really doesn't need a response. A lot of times by the time I get to a comment and have read it, somebody else has already answered it. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I love all you guys, but some of you guys don't listen to what, let me put it this way. I'm only responsible for what I say, not what you hear. So I get a lot of comments like, dude, I can't believe you said that. I was like, did you listen to the sentence that came after? Because if you were to listen to the sentence that came after what you're complaining about, I addressed why or addressed something. And Dave, that sticks, but I can see that. You mean sucks? But at any rate, what I was going to say is, oh, David, I gave you a shout out in my next video. I was talking about I did a video that's going to go up as soon as I get back from picking up my daughter from school. I did a video about the copper matrix, and I wanted to see if I had the same issue that you did when you took the pocket clip off. And yeah, I did. That's not an ambidextrous. I don't know why and I didn't figure out why. And I may have missed it when I watched your video. It's not that you lose the lock bar tension. It allows that lock bar to drop off point. Oh, bro, you don't have to do that shit. God damn it. It allows that detent ball to drop down and not drop into the actual hole, and so you don't have any detent. And I was like, huh. Now, I mean, that could easily be taken care of by just getting some, those are T6, 2 and 56 thread. You could probably just get some extra screws and throw in there. There's a lot of places that have got screws. Like we have a surplus place. It's called A1. It's behind a place called A1 Alloy, and I can't remember that place. They go through, and when they tear out buildings or anything gets demoed, they take every screw out of every piece of equipment you can imagine. And if they don't have it, if they don't have that screw, no one has it. You're not getting it anyway. I bought 100 2 and 56 thread dome head T6 screws. They're the exact same screw you need for a Spyderco pocket clip. I needed 3. The guy was like, I can't sell you 3. He's like, I can't sell you 3. And I was like, fuck. He's like, I can only sell them a batch of 100. And I was like, fuck, how much is that gonna be? He's like, it's like 75 cents. And I didn't have any change. He's like, I had like a 20, and he goes, fuck, just take them. Just take them. It's like 75 cents. I went out of my car and I found some change. I came back in and it was like, I gave it to the guy that runs the place. I was like, bro, I run a business too. I get it. Every cent counts. And I gave him $1 that I had out in the car. And he goes, let me get your change. I was like, no. So you were willing to give me 100 screws. I still have a tub of them out in my fucking drawer. And it's just basically anytime I have a Spyderco that a pocket clip screw goes bad or gets lost, I got a tub of them. Like, oh, there it is. There you go. I actually used them one time. A guy kept complaining that he kept getting shit in in the holes that at the head. He had a stainless steel Endura just like mine, and what would happen is that the dirt would get jammed down in the holes, and then it would get down into the blade travel and muck it up. So we took it apart and we cleaned it up real good. Actually, we didn't even take it apart. We put in an ultrasonic cleaner, an ultrasonic gun cleaner, and then the screws in every one of the holes so that there would not be any dirt getting in those holes. So I put 6 extra screws in his Spyderco. And so like I've used maybe 12 of those 100 screws that I bought 2 years ago. So yeah, it's a fun place. You go in there and there's just drawers and boxes and shit, and they keep it organized. And they must have had 12,000 of those dome head T6 fucking 256 thread screws. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. If you were to buy those, like if you go buy them, that's going to cost you. So that Natrix, I'm not a big fan of it. You'll see in the video, but what I am going to do is I'm going to open up the sharpening choil on that, and then, thanks, I appreciate it, Brandon. So I'm going to, what the fuck was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to cut that choil in and open it up. So it's going to have to get sharpened real well. So, Jack, you're talking about a Microtech UTX 85. Fails every time I fire it now. Okay. So, here's what I recommend. Take the glass breaker out. Don't take the knife apart. Take the glass breaker out and pocket clip and everything. And have the blade back when you do it. Have the blade retracted. Take some jet spray gum out and spray down, or some spray solvent, gun scrubber, something like that. Yeah, just exactly like you had done on yours, Nico. And then, no, don't flush it with Remo. You want like a spray solvent to clean out whatever's gummed up in there. Carb cleaner, carburetor cleaner, jet spray gum out, brake cleaner. You can go as far as if you've got a tub of acetone, you can soak it in. You can do it that way. You can also just get 95% isopropyl, give it a good washout with that, and then you can easily go back, put your glass breaker back on, put a couple drops of Rem oil. I need to order some more Rem oil. My Rem oil came up. I had a bottle of it. I don't know what happened to it. It came up missing. You know what? If you've got anything in there like nano oil and stuff like that, it's not. You want to get any other grit, grime, nastiness. You want a solvent. Hot water, I don't think would do it. You want to get any old oil, anything sticky that's varnished up. Mine's doing the same thing. It won't deploy. Don't use Tough Lube. I used Tough Lube in lieu of Rem oil, and it did not work the way I wanted it to. It did not work well at all. It's all gummed up. So that that's what I would recommend, and see if that does it. If not, get a hold of me. You can always send it to me, and I'll do a. I think I've got the tools that fit that, to take it apart and refurb it, and basically get a spa treatment. Mine needs one too, but you know, that's what I recommend. Something that's got some pressure, some solvent's got some pressure, and you just blow through there and just force all that out. If you can't do that, then soak it in some isopropyl in a sealed container, so it soaks in and it just eats up. You want something to burn off any old PET. No, not PET, PETF. Anyway, whatever the stuff that's in, the Teflon stuff. So, guys, my battery's about dead. I got to go pick my kid up. I have to actually go now. I got to put this gun in the safe. I'm not going to be that father that shows up at the kid's school with a gun. That would be bad. I already go carrying knives. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's full of lint and gunk and oils. You'd be surprised how much oil your guns or your knives and guns and stuff pick up just through daily sitting around and stuff like that. So, guys, I'll talk to you later. Brandon, or not Brandon, B, Mr. Troop, Officer Troop from the, God damn it, Fugitive Recovery Agency. Pip might not be coming. We don't know. He's going to let me know. But next week, Yakov will be here Friday, and then Saturday, Yakov and I are going to Dennis's house for Saturday afternoon. So we got to go do my daughter's passport thing, and then Yakov's been invited to come to Dennis. They'll get along great. Dennis is Russian. Yakov is Croatian. They'll get along fine. So yeah, 15th. That's next Friday. Next Friday. He'll be here in like a week. So yeah, we're gonna go to Den's on Saturday, and then I'm gonna have him at the shop and fucking shit like that. I mean, of course, I'm gonna get him fucking stupid high Friday at least. Um, I don't know how it's gonna work out because that's not a Ferrum Friday. So, all right, guys, I got stuff I got to do. Figure out how I'm gonna pay my mortgage. I got $20 towards it though. All right, love you guys. Talk to you all later. That's what I was gonna say. Oh, that's what I was gonna say in a video. So this YouTube channel, oh yeah, I got 22. This YouTube channel does not feel like a bunch of customers and it as I can. It a big group, and that's what I wanted. The YouTube channels that I follow that I really liked had that feel, but they're slowly but surely going away. You don't get that feel, and I like the live feed function for that. It feels closer. It feels like we're actually interacting, which we are. And so that's how I want to keep this channel. That's how I want to keep this channel. I don't think I'll ever be one of those channels that gets big and fucking like millions of subscribers and shit like that. I'm not that vanilla things I say. So I don't think I'll ever be that YouTube content provider that can get, I probably won't ever get to like the 10,000 mark where I get a fucking, maybe I'll have a clay play button. Maybe I'll make a clay play button or something like that. So, all right, guys, I do have to go. I'm like grabbing stuff. I've got to fucking lock stuff up and go pick my daughter up from school. My wife has to work late today. So, and if you guys want, any of you guys that have been customers, if you go to Google and you type in Crazy Sharp, I have a web page. It's a free web page, but I would really appreciate any of you previous customers that were happy with your service. If you could go do a testimonial and give me a rating, that would be great. It went live the other day. Once Brian finishes the site that's got my gun safe key, everything's locked up. Once I get the actual business page that Brian's making me, where I have a point of sale, and then I don't have to track all this stuff through email like I have been. Basically, it just allows you to pick and choose, and then you just pay prior to sending, and then you get basically you can print a shipping label. Once that's done, I will change that Google listing, but I have a Google listing now, and the biggest radius they only say I service is a 650-mile radius. So basically that'll show up. But like I said, if you want to, you can go and you can give me a good review or however you want to do it. And then, like I said, also, I'll put it in the description below after this loads completely. My daughter's GoFundMe for ice skating. I've had a handful of people donate. It's been great. Someone at her ice skating knows that we're financially having some problems, donated 50 passes for her for freestyle. Freestyle passes. Ice time's expensive. 50 passes, which she goes a lot of times. She goes through, see, Mondays twice a day. Wednesday that's 6 passes. And then Tuesday is 1. Friday is 1. So Saturday she goes in the morning. That's 1. So she's burning through passes pretty expensive. And when you look at it that way, $450 for 50 of them, and she's going through 7 a week. Yeah, well, actually more than that. She's going 6.